Welcome back to Wrap Sew Farmer. This is the second video in the series on redoing the sewing room. If you haven't watched the last video yet, that was on turning bed sheets into new curtains, which I think turned out fabulous, but you'll have to see for yourself. So next on my list of things to do is recovering the chair. I have a chair that got picked up at an estate sale and it's rather comfortable, very sturdy, and its redeeming qualities kind of end there. It's kind of plain, serviceable. So our thought was to recover the back of the seat and the seat itself and just leave the paint color that it is, because it's honestly not bad. So the fabric we're going to use is the same fabric I used to make the tie backs for the curtains, and it's just this home decor fabric in kind of a neutral grayish color with some aqua print on it. So the thought is to take the back off, take the seat off, they just unscrew, make little slip covers to go over, sew it on, bolt it back together, and done. Whether or not it works out as well as it should in my head is a different story, but you know, we'll see what happens. So that's the back off. They just stapled the wondrous pleather to it. So I was going to cut the fabric to fit, make a little bag, and then sew it shut on it before I screwed it back on, was my plan. Let's get the seat off. And there's the seat off. That came off easier than I thought. I was actually afraid that the screws would have cemented themselves in over the past several decades and they wouldn't come out. But so I'm just using the back of the seat for my template, and I'm going to trace around it using a Sharpie, and then I'll leave a seam allowance so I can sew. And I'm using the back of my kind mat just so I don't accidentally get Sharpie on the rug, because I don't think anyone would be amused with me if I did that. Least of all me. So the fabric is part of a garage sale find. It was a whole great big garbage bag full of $10 that my boyfriend got for me to bribe me to fix his cow. So there's the back. The seat is going to be So I actually cut this roomier than I said I would. When I did the mark, I already allowed for seam allowance, but then I allowed another one, and it's actually a good thing I did, because it's actually fitting pretty good. I'll take in at the side, and I just basted this while I tested it. But so far, we're looking pretty good. So I got the back cover just about done. I went back and sewed it a little bit tighter, turned it right side out, and trimmed my seam, and it actually fits pretty good. I got pinned. I need a hand stitch along there. Those were scissors, that would have hurt. So I need a hand stitch along there, and as I go, I'll pull it a little bit tighter, but I actually got pretty good with just pins for right now, and it is looking fabulous. I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out. So kind of decided to go in a different direction in terms of recovering the seat. Instead of making it fitted and sewing it together, I'm going to cut out a piece that's generously sized. So that's like a good 6-8 inches. And then fold it up around and run a gathering stitch with some heavy duty thread and cinch it up. What they did is that they have these, let's see if I can get one, spikes in the metal that they just hooked the fake leather to, which is fine, and the leather stuff is sturdy enough, but my fabric won't hold up to doing that. So we're just going to leave this in place to keep the foam together, because I think if I unwrap it, that's going to start a whole new cascade of things. So we'll try it and see how it works. So instead of going around and gathering it, decided to do corner to corner diagonally, and then just keep going back and forth, which is how I do it if I was doing this like upholstery and stapling it, where you get the corners and you just keep working round and round and going back and forth. Problem running into is the seat is squishy, so no matter how hard you pull it, there's still, when you let it go, there's still slack. So we'll see how this turns out. Worst case scenario, I have more fabric. So, and then for thread, I've got this is really heavy, like button and carpet thread, so I can refund this good and hard and not worry about breaking it. So I went a different direction again for the umpteenth time with this, and what I'm doing is taking a stitch over here and going over there, and I'm crisscrossing so that I get as much tension as possible. So I just got a new thread. So because I went on the left here, I'm going to go to the right over here. And I've got a great big upholstery needle. That's going to hurt like the dickens if I stab someone. So after about 1,000,000 stitches, we finally got it done. We started doing, for this last bit, we just went straight across instead of diagonally. And it actually turned out pretty good. To hide all of the stitching and the fold, which isn't the most attractive, I was going to trace out a piece of fabric and just glue it down with fabric glue and then screw it all back together. So, see how that goes. Got a piece of drop cloth and I'm just going to trace around with Sharpie. So I got a little bit extra, so if I fold it under so I don't have raw edges and then glue it down, finally got it done. I messed up and didn't mark where the screws needed to go in the back in the seat. So spent a half hour trying to find the holes hidden under 27 layers of fabric. So that was fun, but we did finally get it and it's done!